Hey everybody. Oh my god, like it's me, your girl Kiki. Up for another video. Welcome to my channel, the infamous Kiki, where I talk about all kinds of things. Hot topics, dating, love, whatever. I'm not trying to give nobody advice. I'm just usually giving my opinion on certain things. Like who am I? Oh, Kiki, like some of y'all already know me from Teflon TV. Cause the He Goes Live does After Dark, and I be on there sometimes, whatever, kicking it. Uh, so this is just a way for y'all to get to know me or whatever. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, and I promise I'll answer your comments or whatever. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Let's see. I'm a mom. I'm a worker bee. If you haven't been here before, there are other videos that I have that'll be posted here somewhere at the end of this video. So if you haven't watched my other videos, please watch my videos. For those of you who don't know, I am a ex Jehovah's Witness. I was a Jehovah's Witness. I left it 20 years ago. I've lived a life. There are people out there who are like, you used to be a Jehovah's Witness? What? Like, they're just shook. They was shook. They didn't know. And so I've never really told my story. I thought that would put behind me, and I never really told my story. So I've done a sequence of videos which tells my story of how I became, left, became again, left, being a Jehovah's Witness. So look those videos up, and you will get more answers. Today is an exjw themed video. I will check the description because I'll have like links to my shop, because I'm also a black business owner. I'm a mother. I'm an artist. So you'll see videos and you'll see things in the description where you can shop in my Etsy store. I'm not requiring you to, but hey, if you want to buy from me and support, that's how you support the channel and keep these videos going. And please support me. Please, my kids is hungry. They hungry. Like this hair don't buy itself, people. Like it don't buy itself. Like I get it on Amazon, but it don't buy itself, okay? Uh, keep me in wigs, cause my wig game. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's cool. I change my hair frequently. So today is, like I said, an XJW video, ex Jehovah's Witness video. Today I am gonna watch the Jehovah's Witness. Well, I did watch the Jehovah's Witness annual convention. What is it called? Powerful by Faith. See, I have my badge. I don't know if y'all can see this, but like I made a badge. I don't think you can see it. But I hold it up to the camera, but it has like XJW, Kiki on it, Powered by Faith, Jehovah's Witness. Much love. And so I hadn't been to a convention, watched a convention since I left. So it's been a long time. I know that the conventions were online because of COVID. I didn't know that they've been online. I guess at JW.org, that's how they do now. That's how they do. That's what they doing. You go online, watch it, fool. But so I haven't watched the convention in years. Yeah. So I have my own observations. This is just part one of 4 parts. Because I can't. I mean, the conventions are Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, so I can't put everything in one video. Also, if you look in the description, I have a link where you can click on it and you can skip the intro. So this is the intro. For a lot of people who watch this channel may not have been former Jehovah's Witnesses. There may be people who are my friends who are like, what's an annual convention? An annual convention of the Jehovah's Witnesses is basically once a year they have a convention where all the Jehovah's Witnesses attend in their area. Before COVID, it would be like at an arena, like American Airlines stayed, like a stadium or an arena. All over the world. And it all happens like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And of course, people are Jehovah's Witnesses can bring their Bible students. They can bring prospective people who might be interested in knowing more about the organization, family members, disfellowship ones, the backsliders, maybe some apostates. They may invite a family member or two. So and then each day, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Each day they have talks by different people, usually higher level people like governing bodies, circuit overseers, stuff like that, Bethelites, helpers. It's a whole hierarchy. It's levels to this shit with Jehovah's Witnesses. Levels. So it's a whole hierarchy. But they give talks and they show videos apparently now. And as to actually physically attending there, I guess they put the big screen up. So maybe some people in the comments who are Jehovah's Witnesses or left recently, can answer this question, because again, I don't know. When I was going to, so I've been in 20 years now. We'll get to my experience. I'm trying to not make this video too long. When I was a Jehovah's Witness and I was attending the conventions, they were 3 days. We got fed food. I know some of y'all out there remember that. That food was a bomb. We got like breakfast, lunch. We had that Shasta soda, that orange juice. Like we got fed. Like a lot of people that weren't regular members of the Jehovah's Witness, I know people be sneaking food in their bag. I know my grandmother used to go to conventions. She would like sneak food in her purse. She has Ziploc bags. Don't y'all talk about my grandma. May she rest in peace. But that's just how she do. She would have like Ziploc bags, and she would take like whole food home. Like we would have food, like, and I'll be like, Grandma, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing it. I'll be sitting there embarrassed, like, oh my God, like she's literally like taking sodas. And then I think they instituted like a food ticket thing, and then some people misappropriated the tickets just a little bit, or had to hook up with an attendant, get some food. So it would just be, but it was very long. Like it is literally all day. And then they have like breaks and intervals and lunchtime, stuff like that. But it is literally all day long. It's long. And so, people get restless. People walk around the arena. Kids, I was a teenager when I first, went. Like I said, I was 13, 14 years old. And I would just get up and go walk around sometimes. When I was in my 20s, I was much more attentive and I would listen. And then again, I'm a history nerd. I'm a science nerd. I'm a Bible nerd. So I never really had any problem with the conventions and the meetings. It's just sitting there in those uncomfortable stadium seats for so long was just uncomfortable. But other than that, convention was something that Jehovah's Witnesses really look forward to. We get to see, you would get to see brothers and sisters and people all over the world. And so it was very fascinating. Now, as to how they do it today, I hear it's a lot of video, it's a lot of things. And so we're gonna get into it. We're just explaining that to the non-initiated out there what an annual convention was, because not all religions have big conventions like Jehovah's Witnesses do. And Jehovah's Witnesses have annual meetings, circuit assemblies. They have several, but the annual convention is the big one. And then usually at the annual convention they announce like some big announcements. A lot of times they'll release a book or a tract. At least back in my day, I don't know if they do that anymore. From what I've heard, they don't even really do that anymore. That they don't really release no new. They're trying to discontinue a lot of the old Jehovah's Witnesses publications. They're starting to discontinue them because everything's going online now. So the print thing is really not a thing. So, but that's just the overview for those who didn't know. I did take some notes, so I'm gonna pull up my notes here, y'all. I promise I won't be too long. Okay. So, watching it online, like I said, this is Friday, day one. They put up the thing, which is Luke 17:5, which is give us more faith. Just give us more faith. And like I said, if the name of the convention is Powerful by Faith. So the theme for Friday is give us more faith. And then they tried out these videos. Pause. I had no idea. Like I've seen videos on other people's YouTube videos, other people's YouTube channels. I've seen videos, things here and there. I didn't know that they've been doing these videos since like the 2000s. That they've been doing these. Like there's a channel called JW Thoughts, and I saw an old video. Like he posts old videos from like I don't know, like 17 years ago or something. Like back in the early 2000s. I didn't know. I was out of it by the end. So at the convention, they have these really highly produced, like, videos. And then, so they start out and, with, like, this video show. And they have, like, these music videos where there's a singing. And so the first video I noticed there's a video with some African people who are singing. And I don't know what they're singing. They're singing in their language. And it's very beautiful. And then the whole video is just lots of Africans working. Now, y'all, okay, I had some thoughts on that. Apparently Jehovah's Witness, even back in the day, but now, particularly what I've been told and what I've been hearing, it is very big in Africa, which I find highly ironic because you have a governing body that is like one black dude and a bunch of white dudes who are, most of them are from America. Then I think maybe one of them's from Canada and another one's from like Germany or Finland or something. Okay, so that was my issue back in the day, and that's my issue now. In my mind, if there was a God and he had a trying to save a bunch of people on earth, it wouldn't be so westernized, influenced, westernized, centric, and the governing body and the leadership are from America. I understand that the religion was started here, but I would think that if it's really a God blessed, ordained thing, and that this is Jehovah's organization, and these are Jehovah's faithful and discreet slaves, I would think that it would be much more of an international thing. And I know they have like, hierarchies in different countries, like a Bethel in every country and stuff like that. But I just find it very odd, which I did back then, is that a lot of the worker bees and a lot of the growth, pretty much one of the few countries that are still growing in witness numbers, is in Africa, is the continent of Africa. Just because of, I won't even get into that. But anyway, yeah. So they showed this video, and it's just African brothers and sisters, and they're working. And it's a lot of work, and I think they're in Bethel, and it's just a lot of working, and it's lovely, but I'm just like, okay. So then they show another video, which is about some Asian brothers and sisters. I don't know what country they're in. I didn't hear their part. But again, it's kind of a slower tune than the African one. And it's just like they're working on the roof. They're working out in field service. They're together. And I guess, like I said, this is at Bethel somewhere in some Asian country. And it's just a lot of working, and they're supposed to have smiles on their face. And I'm like, what are they trying to tell their parishioners? Like, I guess put on a happy face and get to work? Like, and again, for them trying to expand in Asia, I don't know how the growth is in Asia, but I don't see any Asians in leadership. I don't see that. Then they show another video, which is a video I've seen before, which is about I don't know if it's Finnish, it's Dutch, Swedish, I don't know, but they're singing in their language, and then it's just a video of a guy, parents who were, I guess he's singing to his daughter, and first the mom's pregnant, and she has the baby, and the daughter grows up, and I guess they're raising her in the quote unquote truth or whatever, and it's very sappy and melodramatic and everything, and Jehovah's Witnesses, they really done came up on their production skills. They have came up on them production skills. So I give them a kudos and a fist bump because they really didn't came up. I think a thing that people have to put into perspective a lot of times with these videos and these dramatizations, most of these aren't real stories. There are some that are real stories. There was a black couple that talked about how they found their experience, and they kind of do like a little dramatization. But most of these dramas, whether it be the convention or just on JW.org, these are dramatizations. These are not real people living real lives. Probably the people in the videos, they probably not even related to each other. I mean, you have to keep that in perspective. But whoever is writing and directing these videos, they know how to pull on people's heartstrings and put one over on people. So that was an observation. So yeah, they know how to do. Yeah, they know how to do that. So other observations I had, then the talks start, and they're talking about Jehovah's promises and having more faith and more preaching, a lot of more emphasis on the preaching. Then we get into the science game. Like I felt like I was watching the Science Channel. I felt like I was watching Magellan. Like they had a whole like 3D science videos talking about the cells and the DNA and wildlife, and I mean it was a whole thing trying to tie in faith and science. I guess saying because Jehovah's Witnesses believe in creationism, but trying to pull in like, well, we can't see molecules and we can't see particles, but we still know they're there, so we should have faith in God. But even though science can prove that these things are there, and there's really no proof that there's a divine being, you just have to have faith. And faith, the definition of faith is having feeling that you believe in something without actually having any evidence, demonstrative evidence. So I guess, they this kind of ties together, I guess, whatever. Okay, so then Sam Hurd gets up there, the only brother, the only black dude. Um, he gives his talk, and then some people on their YouTube channels talked about, he's gave an analogy about you driving, you hitting a kid, and wouldn't it be an extremely painful experience if you were driving really fast, you hit this kid? Extremely painful experience for who? For the kid or for you? Like, I didn't really understand. That was a really bad analogy. The wording was just weird, because it's like, okay, you're gonna run over a kid. It wouldn't be a painful experience if you hurt this kid or killed this kid. It'd be a devastating experience because you've hurt or killed somebody's child. So he said extremely painful experience, like you just stub your toe or something, like, ooh, dang, I just ran over a kid. Oh, shucks. Ow, ow, ow. Boy, that was painful. I mean, it was just really weird and creepily and just odd. So, I don't know. That talk was, most of these talks is just blah, 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 blah. I just kept fast forwarding. So then we get to the highlight of the first half of Friday. Remember, this is just the first half of Friday. I'm going to do the second half in another video. We get into the story of Noah and the flood with good old Toni Morris, who is a member of the Jehovah's Witness governing body, so, high up there. And then I've been hearing about the story of the Noah and the flood. I mean, pretty much everybody knows the story anyway, even if you're not religious, even not a Jehovah's Witness. It's a pretty famous story about Noah and the flood, and God saving and bringing a deluge of water, and only saving Noah's family, and then the animals and the ark, and all that. And Jehovah's Witness love this story. I mean, they've been telling this story, I don't even know how long, but even when I was a witness 20 years ago or so, they used to tell this story over and over again about how Noah and his family had faith, and the other people died because they didn't have faith. And then they put up like these little cartoon graphics to kind of illustrate. And while I'm watching this, it really never dawned on me. Here's my profound moment, kids. I didn't really think about these things when I was in my teens, and then in my 20s, I didn't have any children. But after watching these graphics and hearing things about, they're talking about the wicked people and the Nephilim and the evil angels roaming all over the earth have corrupted the people, and why God had to destroy the people on earth because people were so corrupted except for Noah's family. And then they're showing graphics of people, and they're talking about, these wicked men taking wives and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, would I want my kids listening and watching these graphics of these people drowning? And I just never realized how graphic and macabre and it got a little dark. The Jehovah's Witness teachings was. I watched a video. They're going over my book of Bible stories, which was a Jehovah's Witness book. And even I read it when I was 13, just because, again, I was a Bible nerd. And I just read it because it was recommended to children. And even though I wasn't in that demographic, but I found it interesting. I liked the pictures. But again, I was like 13, 14 years old. Looking at the someone going through the book again, I'm like, yikes. Yeah, that's heavy. It's dark. A lot of scenes about Armageddon and stuff like that. It was, I've seen other Bible story books by other religious denominations and ones that they sell at like gift shops and stuff. And I don't remember them having fireballs falling from heaven and killing people at Armageddon. I'm just saying, they didn't really have that. They just had lambs and Jesus, and they didn't really talk about like the Great Tribulation and these other kids' Bible stories books. But in Jehovah's Witnesses, and they've said things on jw.org. They've came out and made statements saying that I guess some parents have complained about how violent some of the pictures and the things that are saying, because while you're at the conventions and or if you're going to the Kingdom Hall listening to these talks, your kids have to be there with you, and they're listening to it too. So like I said, the perspective is so much different now, and clicked in my brain I had some epiphanies while watching this, while having children, thinking if my kids saw this, they would be absolutely positively like shocked and terrified, and they would have questions, and I know that Jehovah's Witness kids who were raised in it are taught this from a very early age. But I just think that with the graphics and the videos that they're doing now, it's a little dark. It's a little dark, ladies and gentlemen. Um, so the whole Noah story, I guess that and then they have videos and graphics, and again when they show pictures of the flood in these little cartoons or whatever, all the people are Caucasian. I hate to keep getting on that, but even in the dramatization when they have the men's and the fake beards and the acting is okay, and the settings and the costumes, that I have no problem with that. But I'm like, Jehovah's Witnesses, like governing body, can we get some people of color? You're talking about stories that take place in Egypt, in Libya, and Sudan. These are modern names. We're talking about the Mennonites, the Cushites. We're talking about Egyptians. We're talking about people now known as Iraq and Babylon. You're talking about areas that are Middle Eastern areas, and you have a bunch of white dudes in beards running around talking about, I'm Shem, I'm Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, I'm like, what? Yeah, there were some Macedonians in there, Alexander the Great. Okay, even they are Mediterranean. They're not blonde-haired, blue-eyed dudes with beards. Like and I understand is Jehovah's Witness production. They doing what they can. It's not like professional and trying to be historically accurate. But I would think for a religion that has a lot of growth in Asian countries and African countries, and then you're having things take place in the motherland, but you don't have there's no black brothers that could play Daniel or David or nothing. Like, these people, we don't even know what they look like. Like, the Bible doesn't give descriptions of a lot of these biblical characters. History doesn't give a lot of description. But the Egyptians, I mean, we know from hieroglyph they were brown. We know that the kingdom of Cush and the Cushites were Sudanese people. We have pictures of them. We have excavations and statues of dark-skinned, brown-skinned people who ran these kingdoms, and the Canaanites and stuff like that. But then when they're just as bad as these historical movies that Hollywood puts out, where they whitewash everything. So I can't say I'm shocked. I can't say I'm disappointed, but I would think after all these years and all these Bible books and literature that I used to read 20 years ago, and I would be like, okay, where's the black people at? I don't understand how any person who could be in this organization who is black or brown or a person of color could not understand that these Bible locations and stories are taking place in the Middle East, in Africa, but then in their publications you're not even acknowledged or recognized in the hierarchy, in the high up hierarchy, and in the video, and in the videos, and in the publications, and in the stupid little violent cartoon drawings. Like, I just, I just don't, that ticked me off then, and it ticks me off now. And it just perplexes me now that I would think in 2021 that they would want to have more representation on the governing body, that they want to have more representation in the organization, but obviously not. So yeah, Toni Morse goes on and does this whole Noah thing, and again, they're bringing up. I just, somebody said on another channel, I forgot whose channel it said, that I don't understand how Jehovah's Witnesses could sit up there and listen to this. The things that I heard in the first half of Friday of this convention is things that have been said when I was in the witness, and it's just like, now it's not even really that sophisticated anymore. It's really kind of like dumbed down, and it's just like when they talk about studying the Bible and studying for meetings, the things that I've seen online and looked up, the literature has changed. It is very dumbed down. It's very to the point where you don't have to do, at least a long time ago, you have to do some kind of outside research. But now it's to the point where they know what they're doing. They're making it so dumbed down to where you don't want to do any outside research. You don't want to question anything because the message is so watered down. It's so just This is faith. Well, I think people should know what faith is. This is the earth. This earth was created on this day, and here's the graphic. I mean, I just found it just very shocking how simplistic it is, and again, to me, that's a decision that was consciously made. Somebody in the governing body, either a long time ago or whenever all of this started with the Bible dramas and the JW.org, and pretty much it's like having like what is like I've said before, like the Christian networks, that the Christian broadcasting networks, like that like Jerry Falwell and them had, and where they had these whole talk shows and networks, like they're pretty much going to that route a little by little, further by further. I mean, as time goes on, and I'm not really mad at them about that, but again, like the message, I just feel like it's not, it wouldn't resonate with people outside of the Jehovah's Witness. Like, no wonder they're not bringing any people in from the West, because things have changed than it was 20, 30 years ago. People are much on the internet now. People are more hip on religion. People have there's things you can easily look up. When you didn't have the internet, you just kind of had to take what the Jehovah's Witnesses told you, and then you go to the library and pull a book or something like I did and read outside books or outside publications. But now with Google and everything, I mean, when I left it, we didn't have the information age. We didn't have Google and Twitter and Wikipedia, and we didn't have all of that. I mean, it was just barely starting. But now with information at the touch of your fingertips, you can go and pull a book and download Bible scholar books, or watch Bible scholars on YouTube even, and it's, you can discern the truth for yourself. And so now I just I think that they're really afraid of that, and they're just trying to make everything so simple and so easy for people that you just don't question anything. You just like, yeah, of course that makes sense, when to somebody else they would look at that and be like, that doesn't even make any sense, or no, that's not true. Or to a more learned, critical thinking skills person would be able to see through some of this bait and switch trickery that they do, and the fact that they just keep repeating the same Bible stories and the same Bible verses over and over and over again. And I'm just shocked and amazed that people haven't caught on. People, especially who've been in the organization for so long, I'm like, have you not caught on yet that they've been talking about Noah the same way forever? They've been talking about the earth and using the same scriptures about the earth hanging on nothing, and God created this. And I mean, the same scriptures I heard 20, 30 years ago. It's nothing has really changed. So I found that incredibly amazing. But that's the end of part one. That's the half the day of Friday. And I'm going to come back and we're going to do the second half of Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. And it's a lot of things, and I'm still going to, I try to take my notes and everything for you guys. But like, share, subscribe, watch my other videos, comment, leave a heart, leave a like. If you leave likes, you watch the video, that gets my video out there in the ether. It gets my video out to more YouTube people. Maybe it'll help some people wake up. Maybe not. My goal is not to wake up people. I'm gonna say this before I end. I have no issues with Jehovah's Witnesses at all. I have no problem with Jehovah's Witnesses. I think Jehovah's Witnesses are lovely people. I believe in freedom. I believe people have a choice. If you feel like being a Jehovah's Witness is your thing, it's the thing for you, you haven't had any issues, you're like, pressure, what are they talking about? It's all good for me and my family. Then by all means, you do you. Again, I wasn't abused when I was in an organization. I don't have family in an organization, so I don't have any axe to grind or skin in the game like a lot of people do, who legitimately are trying to save their family members, or trying to save their loved ones, and trying to get their loved ones out of this organization and wake them up. I'm not here trying to wake anybody up. I'm just here telling you my situations and my stories and what I've experienced inside and outside of the organization. Like I said, if people want to be a witness, you can be a witness. I'm not trying to get anybody to leave, or it's Jehovah's Witness is the most horrible organization ever, and they're just so terrible. There are other religious organizations that are much more restrictive, much more culty, much more damaging than Jehovah's Witnesses. But the people out there who have been hurt by this organization, who have been shunned mercilessly, who have been, abused by spouses or just done dirty by people in the congregations. They have a right to have their own agendas, and they have a right to feel how they feel. But in my end, if you want to be a witness, man, be a witness. But I'm just gonna try to keep it light, and just try to keep it fluid, and just y'all have a good day, and you do you, and you be you, and we hopefully we'll be all right. So y'all have a good day, y'all have a good weekend, good Friday. I'll be back in a couple of days with another video. Peace and hair grease, everybody. Jill.